So you're looking for a dog trainer in Villa Park, Illinois? You've come to the right place. This is your guide to helping you make a really great choice for you and your dog.
First, let's just picture the end goal, right? Imagine walking through the Villa Park Town Center, or maybe you're just relaxing over at Ardmore Park, and your dog is right there with you, just calm and relaxed. That's not some far-off dream. That is exactly what good training can do.
So, how do we get to that point? Well, first, we need to build a bit of a foundation. Let's talk about the main training methods and the different ways programs are set up. Knowing this stuff is going to help you choose the right path.
The big one you're going to hear about is positive reinforcement. Now, this isn't just about handing out treats all day long. It's really about teaching your dog what you want them to do and then rewarding them for making that good choice. This method builds a ton of trust, and it's simply the most humane and effective way to get results that actually last, especially in a busy community like ours. Okay, so you'll usually have two main options to pick from: group classes or private sessions. Group classes are fantastic, especially for socialization and getting your dog to practice focusing when there's other stuff going on. Private sessions, on the other hand, are totally customized to your dog's specific needs. They're perfect for working on things that happen inside the house, like jumping on people or barking at the mailman.
There's also a third option you might see called board and train. This is a pretty intensive program where your dog actually goes and lives with the trainer for a little while. Now, for this kind of training to really stick, the owner, that's you, has to be super involved in that handoff process to learn how to keep up all the great work.
All right, now that we've covered the what and the how, let's talk about finding the who, the right expert for you. Knowing what to look for will make it so much easier to find a real professional. You might see a bunch of letters after a trainer's name, and believe me, they aren't just for show. Certifications like CPDTK or KPA-CTP mean that a trainer has passed some tough exams and they're committed to keeping their skills sharp. And if you're dealing with more serious issues like bad anxiety or reactivity, credentials like CBCCK or CDBC mean they have an even higher level of specialized training.
And this leads me to probably the most important rule of thumb. A professional trainer should never, ever use fear, pain, or intimidation. Those old-school methods can actually create new problems and really harm the bond you have with your dog. You're looking for a coach, not a drill sergeant.
Of course, we've got to talk about money. So let's take a look at the typical costs for dog training here in the Villa Park and Greater DuPage County area. That way, you can get a good idea of what to budget for. Just to give you a quick starting point, a single 1-hour private lesson is typically going to run somewhere between $90 and $150. This gives you a really good baseline for what you can expect to pay for a qualified professional in our area.
Now let's look at some of the packages. A 6-week puppy class is usually in that $160 to $250 range, and group obedience classes are often a little more. Packages for private in-home training usually run between $400 and $850. And those really intensive board and train programs, well, they reflect that 24/7 care, usually starting around $1,800.
You know, good training isn't just about learning tricks. It's about setting your dog up for success in the real world, right here in our community. Knowing Villa Park's local rules is a huge part of being a responsible dog owner, and training makes following those rules a whole lot easier.
So here are a few key things to know. In Villa Park, your dog has to be on a leash that's 10 feet or shorter anytime you're off your property. That state-required rabies tag also has to be on their collar at all times. And training can really help manage any nuisance barking, which is actually considered a noise violation here. And now for the fun part, putting all these new skills to the test. The Canine Corral at Community Park is awesome. It's a safe, fenced-in spot that's perfect for working on recall. Ardmore Park is great for practicing focus with all the everyday distractions. And for really nailing those leash manners, you just can't beat the Illinois Prairie Path or the nearby Forest Preserve trails.
Okay, so you're feeling ready to start calling some trainers. But what do you actually ask them? Let's go through a quick little checklist you can use when you have those first conversations.
Here are the essentials. First, ask about their training philosophy. Make sure it lines up with the positive methods we talked about. Second, ask about their certifications. Third, talk about your dog and your life here and make sure they can create a plan that fits you. And finally, get all the details on fees and policies right up front so there are absolutely no surprises later on.
At the end of the day, this whole process really comes down to one thing. When you make an informed choice right from the beginning, you're setting you and your dog up for success. The right trainer leads to a happier dog and, let's be honest, a much more peaceful and enjoyable life for you.
So as you get started, just think about that question.
How will having a well-behaved dog change your daily walks, or your visits with friends, or just your ability to enjoy everything Villa Park has to offer? We wish you the very best of luck finding that perfect training partner. A well-trained dog really does enrich your life and your connection with your whole community.